Hey everybody, it's James. Apologize for. Whoa, what the heck is going on here? I'm getting some feedback here. Why is that happening? Sorry about that. Always technical difficulties, for crying out loud. All right. So, I apologize for the late start. I'm dealing with remnants of the flu. So it's had me down for several days. And it kicked my butt pretty good. So I apologize that I have been down. But listen, what I wanted to cover with you guys today is a concept that I really need you guys to understand. We're talking Real Geeks, and we're talking workflows. Okay? What are they? What do they mean? How are they relevant to your business? How do you use them? And even how you can design some workflows on your own. So I'm going to show you workflows. I'm going to show you on a mobile device here in a little bit how you actually will go in and at the closing table, find your lead and bang, drop a post-closing campaign that's going to touch them for years to come. So yeah, a lot of good stuff to get into. So let's do just that. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this, shall we? And for those of you watching, if you're in the closed group or whatever, this is on YouTube as well, where you can go back and, look, a lot of this is kind of showing you, high level overview type. Go back and watch this. And here's a pro tip. You should, as a real estate agent, I don't care who you are watching this on YouTube. If you're a real estate agent, or hell, any professional in any sense, whenever you're watching a training video and you want to actually do the thing that you're watching, have two screens. Okay. Now this is a live because my goal was to have actual live interactions here, but you should have two screens. You should maybe have your laptop connected to a second screen, and on your laptop, watch the video, and on the second screen, go do the thing. So you're watching the video, pause, go do the thing, play. Oh, that was useful. Pause, go do the thing, right? You get the point. All right, let's get into Real Geeks, shall we? So what is a workflow? Okay, well, I'm going to show you. So I'm in the dashboard right now. I'm in the lead manager. This is my dashboard screen. This is the lead feed. This kind of shows you everything that's been going on, any follow-ups. I have some overdue follow-ups, and then these are all my upcoming follow-ups. So, I run my 8x8 through this system, and that's what a lot of these are. Some of them are phone calls, but the majority of them are actually mailers from the 8x8. Okay? So what we're going to look at, though, is the actual workflows that create all of this. Okay? So let's actually dig into where you actually will find workflows. Now, if you're an agent with our firm, no, you can't edit these workflows, okay? But I'm kind of showing you so that you understand, and then if you want to create a custom workflow, you got to get with us so that nobody makes any mistakes. So on the left-hand side under automations, click drip workflows right here. And this thing going to take you into this screen. And what I'm really going to walk you through is kind of how they work, how they're triggered, like the whole bit, okay? So a workflow is a series of steps, just like this buyer post-closing workflow, okay? You could also call it a drip, whatever you want to call it, but in Real Geeks, it's called a workflow. So right here is the buyer post-closing. You'll see that it's active. They always have to be active. And you'll see that there's 17 steps. Now you'll see that there's no leads currently running on this campaign. Why? Because This campaign just got created an hour ago. A lot more campaigns are being created that you're going to be able to use. Now, I'm going to drill into this campaign so you can see what a workflow looks like. Okay. Now, again, you're not going to be able to go in and edit these things because we've had agents go in and delete workflows that took time and money to create. And once you delete these things, it's damn near impossible to get them back. So, all right. So I'm going to edit this. And again, I just want you to see the interface of these workflows and how this all works. So the first thing that you're going to see when you come to this is the buyer post closing settings right here. So you're going to click on this and you'll see, all right, workflow name. And the first question is, what should trigger leads to be subscribed? Right now I have it set to nothing, right? Meaning there's no automatic trigger. It's going to have to be manual, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And then what should happen if the lead responds? Well, you can pause certain workflows when people respond. I don't like the system doing that for me. I like doing that, so I don't auto pause anything. I will pause things. I just got paused by a lead about 20 minutes ago. And it's super easy to take people off and on. It's not a big deal. Well, I want to show you, though, there are ways to auto trigger these campaigns. So the big one is when they come from certain sources. So for example, some of these, and I'm working with Real Geeks right now to try to get them to create some custom sources in here. But these are already kind of pre-drafted, so to speak. And again, I'm trying to get them to create some more custom ones in here because unfortunately, some of the ones that I created for this particular instance are not in here. But you guys can see there's a lot. Some of these are fixed and created by Real Geeks, cannot be changed. Some are created by us. So yeah. So, oh, wait a second. All right. So they just went, it looks like they actually were able to do it for me. So check this out. So now I'm going to set this when a lead will automatically be assigned to this campaign now in one of two ways. One, when I manually put them on the workflow, or when I change the source to buyer closed. So that's cool. I'm going to come here and hit continue. So I'm glad they were able to do that for me. It's pretty cool. That literally just happened. Okay, so this is kind of what we're looking at. You'll see all the different steps in here. Let me scroll down to the bottom. And well, first I got to hit edit here so that you can see what it is that we're able to do. So this is the meat and potatoes of it. These are all the things that can be created. Number one, we can send auto emails. We can add follow-ups. We can send SMS text messages. We can place tags on people. We can update their status. And we can trigger a new workflow. What would be an example of triggering a new workflow be? Well, let's say that you're doing leads and you have what I would call like the 10 days of pain, like a really hard hitting campaign that hammers them for 10 days. And then at the end of that 10 days, they get immediately placed on another campaign that's a little softer. The intervals are spread out more. And maybe instead of getting pounded once or twice a day for 10 days, they now get hit once or twice a week for the next 6 months to a year. Make sense? So when the 10 days of pain is over, it will then trigger the softer, more long game buyer campaign. Does that make sense? So that is just a quick high-level overview of how these campaigns run. Okay? So hopefully you guys got the picture on that. Don't know why my stupid screen is doing that silly stuff. All right. So I'm not going to go, and again, you can kind of see here, all these different steps. So you'll see emails, and I want you to pay careful attention to something. See how it says, actually, you know what? Let me get out of here, and I'm just going to make sure that this campaign here is, actually published. And I don't know why it's being silly like this. Okay, now you see we got the workflow is published. I'm actually just going to create a generic workflow. So you can see, I'm going to create a blank, and I'm just going to name this demo. Okay. And I'm going to say nothing and nothing for all these triggers. I just kind of want to show you the interface. Okay. So this is the interface. You'll see that there's just nothing there, right? Nothing. So I have to decide what things are going to happen right now. Well, number one, I like one of the first things doing, I like adding a tag, okay? Because I want to make sure that they're tagged appropriately. So we're going to say, in this instance, that, I don't know, these are for home light leads, okay? So first thing, tag. Wait 0 minutes. I don't want any delay. Edit tag, add. Yep. And then I want home light. Okay. I want home light to be added as a tag. Done. Simple. Next, I want an immediate, because this is a home light lead, I want to add an SMS. And again, I'm just showing you this really quickly so you understand this, so that if you want to create custom campaigns, you can. So now if you're not a part of our brokerage and you're watching this, you got to talk to your brokerage about having custom campaigns created for you and maybe saved in the system under your name. So for instance, like your name, post-closing campaign 2026, something like that. So, but I want you to understand how each of these works. Everything is a weight, then it's meaning like a number, 1, 10, 180, right? Then the next thing is minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years. And then obviously in this instance, I am doing an SMS, but I can do automated emails. I can do follow-ups, which are tasks for me to do, right? Like if I'm going to, let's say an 8x8, a mailer needs to go out, then I'm going to make that a follow-up, okay? Right now I'm doing an SMS. And if you're creating something new, you have to create a new template. And then you basically come right here and you name it, buyer demo SMS 1, something like that. And then you would come down here and you would type your message. And this is, I'm just being stupid here. Hey buyer, let's see. Hey, oh, by the way, you can use merge fields in this, so know that. So one of the things I will do is I will come in here to merge fields and I'll say lead first name, right? And I'm very particular about my spacing, so I'll come right here. I'll say, Bill, I see you just registered on our website or on HomeLight's platform. I'm one of their partners, so they asked me to reach out. You get the point, okay? Can you talk? This is a horrible example. I'm just showing you how you can do things and add things. Now I will come in here and I will say, let's do the agent. Let's do the agent name right there. And then you can, if you wanted to, you could also come in here and add a video, which I think is freaking awesome. I can select one of these, videos that I've already loaded into the system, which I think is freaking awesome. And then you hit save and you're good to go. And then that actual touch point is is good. We're done. Now, here's the thing you got to understand is the next thing that I'm going to do is triggered off the last thing I did. So if you notice, if I'm going to add an email next, so I'm going to click on add email. First thing I come across is wait, like how much do I have to wait? So I'll say, I don't know, I'm going to wait 5 minutes to send this email, right? Not 5 days, because this is a brand new lead. So I'm going to hammer them in the beginning. You get my point? So I want you to understand there's a wait time or interval between this touch and the prior. And again, that can be any of these other options here: follow-ups, text, emails, status updates, trigger workflow. Like all of these things can be programmed. So what you need to know is, if you want to create something yourself, you need to understand that you have to address the intervals, and you have to address, like, is it email? Is it text? Is it a tag? Is it a trigger? Like, what are each of these touches going to be? Now, I'm going to go back through here, and I'm actually going to walk through I'm going to take a look at the actual buyer post-closing campaign with you so that you guys can see it in step-by-step fashion. Okay, so let's jump back in here. And this is kind of what it looks like. So the first thing in here is that they're going to get tagged SOI. It's a big deal, right? So this is a buyer post-closing campaign. How many of you forget to mark them as a part of your SOI? So, and here's the thing. On your calendar, you should have SOI tasks. Like, let's say you're doing a weekly email newsletter to your SOI, which you should be. Well, guess what? Who are you sending it to? How do you know who's a part of your SOI? Well, as soon as you close the deal, this tag gets put on them, so you can't make that mistake. So as you can see here, step 2, we're going to wait 0 minutes, and then an email is going to go out. Okay? Let me go in here and click the edit feature so that I can actually show you what some of these things say. Then step 3, it's going to wait 2 days, and then we're going to send an SMS out. So this is an example of what the SMS looks like. Just checking in to see how the first couple of days in the new home are going. Anything come up that I can help with? Okay. That's pretty useful. That's pretty useful. Then we'll go back through here, and I'll show you guys an example of an email. So day 10, buyer post closing. This is an email. So this is me asking, do they need a handyman, electrician, plumbing work, anything needed? Okay, that's baked in there. There's a review request that's going to go out. Okay, there is here's 2 different emails. We have a soft referral request automatically baked in here. Most people don't ask for referrals, which is a mistake. So all of this stuff, reviews, referrals, homestead exemption reminders, like here's the homestead exemption. This is a text asking, hey, did you get the homestead exemption email? So campaigns like this are really, really, really powerful. And I want to show you actually as an example how you actually do this at the closing table. So in this instance, this is a buyer post-closing campaign. You should trigger this campaign the day the deal closes. What's one good way that you do that? Well, you should do that from your phone right there at the closing table. So let me actually go into my actual campaign here, and I'm going to go to I'm going to go into one of my leads here. And I am getting prompted to do follow-ups here, and I'm not going to mark those as complete because my assistant has to actually take care of getting these things done. So I'm going to log into this lead that you see right here. So you see on the screen, you see activity follow-ups. Oh, these are follow-ups to do, notes, and then info. Aha. Things are starting to get interesting. Okay. In info, notice this is where all the person's information is. Right here under workflows, I can click add, and then I can find the buyer post-closing campaign, which is right there. Okay. Now I'm turning this off quickly because this is an actual real lead, but that's how you would do it. And could you imagine, you never have to mess with this lead again. Okay. Like, that's it. It's running. It's absolutely running. That is a really powerful part of workflows and how you use it. So as an example, just to kind of tell you, that buyer post-closing campaign, because what I'm trying to do today is I'm just trying to spark some thought in your head on how can I use these workflows to my advantage. And for my agents, you guys will be getting an email with all of the campaigns and the campaign names that are at your disposal to use. But, I want you to understand, like for this post-closing campaign, just as an example, they're getting tagged SOI because most people forget to do that. They're getting sent an immediate, hey, congrats for your trust. I really appreciate it. I hope you're doing fine. Then you're going to get another one that is going to day 3. They're going to get a text message, just checking in on them. I'm kind of looking through the campaign right now. Day 5, they get an email letting them know, hey, listen, you're going to be getting a review request from me from Real Satisfied. It's an independent third-party separate email. Also, I'm going to be sending you a separate email with links to Google and Zillow. It would mean the world to me if you would take the minute to do a couple of those reviews. That's big. Real Satisfied is going to trigger that review request automatically. This kind of preps them for it, so they're looking for it and they don't delete it or mark it as spam. Okay. And then, for example, that review request goes out, and then 48 hours later or 2 days later, they're going to get the agent will actually get a follow-up request to yourself to check on whether or not they actually did the review request. And if they didn't, you gently nudge them and remind them. Are you starting to see how you can use this to make sure nothing falls through the cracks? So I send a review request, and then I send a reminder. It's called a follow-up. That's how you program it. It's a follow-up to you, right? And then you basically say, hey, check on the review to make sure I got it. And if I didn't get it, send the request. Make sense? So that's another classic example of how you actually can leverage these workflows. Okay. So let me dive back in here, and I want to show you guys. So this is that actual campaign, and I just made a minor edit to it. So I'm going to hit publish. And again, you always have to make sure that these campaigns are active. So you'll see buyer post-closing is active. Now, there's all kinds of campaigns in here. And again, if you're one of our agents, we will go through with you how you do this. Now, a couple of things with these campaigns. They're going to be running emails, text messages, all that stuff. So you have got to make sure that your profile is thoroughly set up. Okay, so you've got autoresponder messages that you can program in here. You've got email signature that you need to do. Okay, and by the way, do you see my email signature? It doesn't have, if you notice, it doesn't say regards or whatever, because that's already in all the emails. So make sure you do not do that. Make sure you literally have this format right here. Now, these are not sexy looking emails that are going to be going out. That's okay. But you do want to make sure that they at least look decent. So if you have not set all of this up, if you have not set up your profile, uploaded a photo, done and added your cell phone number, all of this stuff, you need to, because otherwise your workflows will get very messy and break. Okay? Now, unfortunately, we had a lot of technical difficulties here. So I know a lot of people were not able to jump on the training last minute. If anyone's online and wants to drop comments on how these workflows work or how you can leverage them, please feel free to do so, and I'll be glad to answer any of those questions. But the big thing I wanted you to understand is the power of these things. So number one, they can be triggered automatically by a status type. Speaking of which, let's go back into that and let's see how that actually looks. So let's say I am in, I'm going to go back into my leads list here, and I'm going to, I have to sort by me here, so that way I'm not messing with anyone else's stuff. Come on, Real Geeks. All right, so Francis George, okay? Now, as I told you guys, we're allowed to trigger things, okay, in a couple of different ways. I'm back in here in the main dashboard now. The number one way to put someone on a campaign of some type or another is you come right here to the workflow and you find, like, for example, the buyer post-closing, and then you select it and you hit add. It's just that simple. I showed you how to do it on the phone. It's not an overly difficult thing to do. And then that thing is running for, like, the buyer post-closing is running for the next several years. It's going to remind them of Homestead. It's going to remind them to create a green file of all the upgrades they did to their house. It's going to provide check-ins. It's going to remind you 5 days before the 1 year anniversary to send them a 1 year anniversary card. On the 1 year anniversary, it's going to send an automatic email and text message to them, notifying them, hey, listen, congrats on your 1 year anniversary. Time flies, blah, blah, blah. Okay? And it's going to do that anniversary follow-up. Okay? So it's super simple with regards to how we do this. Now, if you remember, one of the other ways that we do this is sources. Okay? So for a source, this one is actually an automated system. So I use Zapier for a lot of my leads. And by the way, that is like advanced training. That's Masterclass stuff. I'll be getting into that, how you use Zapier to really get crazy. Like, you can do some really cool stuff using Zapier. But let me actually go back to just my leads list and find a non-Zapier related lead. Let's see if this one here. Okay. So, like, for instance, this one, yeah, no. So you see a lot of my stuff are sourced in this way. Let me see if I can find. No, I'm having fits here because a lot of these are leads that came in through these various platforms here. So for some reason, every single one of these is giving me fits. But the reality is, I'm going to go back in here to the generic leads list, and I'm just going to pull up. I'm going to take my filter off, and I'll grab one of my agents. We'll pretend I'm Sabrina for now. Don't worry, Sabrina, if you're watching, I'm not going to mess with your lead. All right. So down here, we can edit the source. Okay. So I can come in here and we can scroll through here. Let's say this is a closed buyer. I can come down here, and as soon as if I were to select closed buyer right now, bang, that campaign's running. Okay. Now, why would we do it that way over just manually doing this? Good question. Good question. Me personally, I suggest doing it just manually the good old-fashioned way, and I suggest you do it right there at the closing table. It's a whole lot easier. Now, when would you want to use statuses like that? Hang on. I apologize. People are struggling getting on the training. So if you are, let's say, using a project management system like Trello, Asana, ClickUp, whatever, and you want to just move people between all the different statuses there, then that's where we would use Zapier to connect to Real Geeks, and that status change in that system would, like, let's say if you did a status change in Trello and you moved it from, pending to closed, then Zapier would then automatically change the sourcing in Real Geeks that would then automatically trigger the new campaign. So I just wanted to show you, like, what are all the possibilities? How does this work? All that good stuff, so you guys get a grasp of it. Okay, so hopefully you got a little bit out of this. Don't worry. Go back and watch this again. And I'll be doing a lot more trainings on this so that you guys get a better sense of kind of how this works. But yeah, workflows, man, they're amazing. And you should have every lead you have in Real Geeks needs to be on some kind of a workflow. Every single one. Post-closing, active seller, cold buyer, it doesn't matter. There's a workflow for everything, and every lead should be on a workflow. All right, everybody, I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more. All right, I got a lot more coming your way. All right, thanks so much.